Hi everyone, and welcome back to Adventures. Well, I have some late-breaking cruise news that just about 100,000 North Americans are going to be very excited about. The great news is that the CDC has now lifted their no-sail order in North America. So what does that mean? That means that the cruise lines can start thinking about cruising again. They can start repositioning their ships, bringing their crew members back. In fact, I've also heard firsthand that Carnival Cruises, some of Royal Caribbean, and some of MSC, that the crew members have already received their LOE letters, which are their letter of employments. Many of them have already gone back to the ships, and some are in the process of packing to return. So it doesn't mean that we're going to start cruising next week, but it is now official that we can start bringing everything together and start planning to cruise again. I anticipate maybe a few going out in December, possibly a few Carnival cruises, probably a few NCL, maybe Royal, just a few of the ships just to get out and about. Now, I haven't heard anything firsthand about Princess cruises or their crew members going back yet, but unfortunately, I'll keep you posted about that. So although the CDC did lift the no-sail order, they have put in place a new framework for the cruise lines to adhere to, 40 pages. I will put the link to this down below so that you can print it off and read all the fine details for your reading enjoyment. But anyway, it's officially called A New Framework for Conditional Sailing, a 40-page document outlining the basics of returning to cruise travel. So I've broken the requirements up into 9 different areas. The very first one is that the cruise line must apply for a COVID-19 conditional sailing certificate from the CDC. The CDC can approve it or deny it anytime. The CDC can approve it or deny any permit application and can revoke it at any time. Okay, so the CDC still has a lot of power, and for a while I'm sure we'll have to abide by their rules, but that's fine, we can do that. Number 2, the cruise lines are required to run a series of simulated voyages prior to re-entering service. So what does this mean? Simulated voyages will mimic a normal cruise experience and also include drills for potential outbreaks and positive COVID-19 cases aboard. Number 3, the CDC can control passenger and crew capacity, itineraries, port visits, activities, and more. So the CDC is going to control and say how many passengers we can have on board at a time and how many crew members also as well. Also the itineraries and the port visits and all activities. Okay, that's okay, we can deal with that. Number 4, cruises from the United States cannot exceed 7 days. We don't know how long this requirement will even last. But also, as you know, the MSC Grandiosa has been sailing successfully in the country of Italy since August. And those are mainly 7-day cruises. So 7-day is a good number to test the waters. Also, if you haven't had a chance to see my video, I show a friend last month that actually went on a cruise on the Grandiosa in the month of September. But they are restricting our cruises to 7 days. That seems fair, kind of test the waters, see how things go. Number 5, cruise lines must test and screen passengers and crew before they embark. Okay, we are expecting that. Crew will be tested on a weekly basis going forward. So the crew every week will be tested. Number 6 says, laboratory testing will be required of all passengers and crew on embarkation and disembarkation, in line with the CDC guidelines. So not only when passengers and crew embark, we understand that, but in disembarkation, they want to make sure that the passengers disembark still being well. Also for contact tracing as well. I imagine that's what that's for. Number 7, ships must maintain standards for hygiene based on the CDC guidelines. This will include physical distancing and hand washing, etc. Now, I happen to know our ships are very, very clean, but this is good that the CDC has their additional guidelines and protocols. Number 8, cruise lines will be required to modify dining and entertainment services in line with physical distancing requirements. And we're expecting that the entertainment, maybe in the theaters, people can sit every, 3 seats. They have to social distance. Also, as far as the dining rooms, I'm sure will separate the tables a little bit more social distancing. We also assumed long ago that our buffets would be modified a little bit and that passengers would be served in those lines. Number 9, cruise lines must disembark and transport guests and crew using non-commercial transportation in the event of a positive case. So they're setting up protocols in case someone does get sick, in the unlikely event that someone does test positive, that when they're in port, that the cruise line will have standards, will have protocols of how to get passengers from point A to point B. And that will have to be something prearranged for every port. In the unlikely case that that's needed, the people will have to be on standby. So these are the 9 things that the CDC has put in place for us to follow. I'm very happy with them. I think that's all doable. The MSC has been following a lot of these protocols and doing just very, very nicely. So I'm very pleased that we finally have something in writing, something that we can follow and open up, at least begin to open up the cruise industry again. Now, at the beginning of my video, I mentioned the 100,000 people that will be really, really happy with this news. I'm referring to the travel industry all across the United States and indeed across the world. And to us, it's like a multi-billion-dollar industry. So it's more than just, your neighbors are upset because they can't take their cruise or their vacation. But this affects almost just about everybody. And I'm so grateful that the CDC has finally put down in writing some protocols, something to get us back on the road, back on the high seas as well. Also, a few minutes ago, I got a text from a friend from the cruise line that said that because of the no sail order lifted tomorrow night, October 31st, that the stock market for the cruise lines has gone through the roof. So it's all very, very good news. We need to go by these protocols and get back to sailing. Also, I realize we need to be very, very cognizant of being very safe. We don't want any new outbreaks, but this is indeed good news. So, and until next time, ciao for now.